Glowies wanna get me cause my rhymes are hot. I'm self-taught, can't be bought. Preach what I think, that's a fact, no cap. I'm smart like a smart contract or the crack. They jelly cone jack trying to get me whacked back. Gonna snap on a track, get mad. Fuck the whole world up, ain't track. Every decade comes change. First came stage, ARPA, Usenet, AIM, screen names, MySpace. Then they got fucked up, talking about Zuck. Facebook, face fuck us, we the product. At least we came to be, they to be the prize online. They mind your privacy, his story rhymes. It don't skip a beat, it's story time. Big tech greed, monopoly. This the motherfucking cyber streets. Freedom ain't free, it's a game of hide and seek. That's why you hide your private keys. They got eyes on your IP and you're blind if you can't see. As rule everything around me. App sticky, mic's listening. Click funnel this way, think you had it your way, no way. It's bait, make no mistake. Everything you do, it's tracked and traced. Make the big change, make the big change. DVPN all day. 400K in the sand game. Yeah, we scaling every day, now we all knows. In a big brain, make the big change. Proof of stake, how we validate, obfuscate your IP with Web3. Regain your privacy, make them glowies go re. 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 Make them glowies go. Boot in a catfish, spoofing traffic, laughing in a Russian accent. Trying to slide in through the back door. No, it's a Trojan horse. This World War Nord got murked. Twerps, blogging confidential data. Such a point of failure. Get gods. Could have been a honeypot from you know who. Chinese Winnie the Pooh. Xi Jinping and me from overseas. Launching ICMP. But we go in Hong Kong and this motherfucker make it hard to see. Yeah, we using laser beams. We decentralize, hit rewind. When a packet was a packet, reset the vibe. We don't hide, we divide and conquer. All knows in the high mind strong. Brian eyes always on the rise. That's why we decentralize. Sentinel, defensible. Yeah, multi-dimensional. No central point of failure. Cause our knows are fucking plentiful. Make the big change about face. It's time to stake up the validators validate. Zen gang it ain't made. But we got the Mays and the blue Pepes. Main chain here to stay. It's scalable. Cosmos SDK. Make the big change. Send gang. DVPN all day. Glows, entry and exit nodes all owned by the GPAs. Facebook went down for a fucking day. Like no way, yes way, deep fake. They want you woke, they don't want you wide awake. They went on Eastern Bloc regime. They wet dream, outlaw anonymity. They can coup, they can't see, cause we using laser beams. This is cyber streets. Freedom ain't free. Guard your keys, trust no one but yourself. All you got is your privacy. And Sentinel is defensible. To guard your IP.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to Komodo Exchange Live, TownHall. And today we have some updates for you. And we're going to talk about IP addresses and decentralized VPNs. We did do a show earlier with Melee, which was, they accept pirate guys. So if you do buy a VPN, know that you are not safe unless you're paying with pirate chain or something private, right? Because there's no point. There's no point in anonymizing yourself and your IP address if you could be traced through the money you paid for it, right? So you're really not doing anything at that point, uh, whether they record logs or not. But we're gonna talk about that more later. Let's get to the updates this week, guys. Polly's here. Polly, you want to take over, my man?
Some updates, for this week. We are still working on getting everything out for the desktop mobile app. We also have some, the work on Sia Coin is now progressing forward to complete their integration. So that's a big one, something that we're wanting to finish up now here for a few months. That will allow Sia Coin to be swapped against any other coin in the Komodo wallet and the Komodo exchange. Other than that, it's pretty much the highlights of the updates this week. It's really just been getting these things done so we can finally get the last bit of stuff done to get the wallets up. We've been waiting now for quite some time.
All right, guys, and keep in mind that F-Droid also has Komodo now, guys. So I want you to test it out. Go in there. All you anons out there, you wanted to, like I know I couldn't download it from Google and such, so now you can, right? You could grab your Lineage OS phone or your Graphene OS phone, and now you can use it on your phone. And it's only going to get better from here. We got Freaknik in here. Freaknik is I know you wanted to invite somebody else. I forgot who was on this.
Yeah, it was Alexander Litriev. He's like the foreman of Sentinel right now. So I don't see him in here, and I haven't heard from him. So I could give a rundown on Sentinel and what they're developing, along with my app that MathNodes is developing, and the other apps available on Sentinel, along with the AI data miners that we have. But I can get into that a little bit later if Litriev doesn't show up.
Okay, yeah, man. I mean, if he wants to drop in, I know you know your stuff. So let's
Yeah, I've been with Sentinel for about 5 years now. So
Wow. Yeah, I remember. I remember when you joined the BPSAAAAA.
yeah,
Yeah. Can you remember? I can never say it, man. I was like, yo, that's the most horrible name I've ever heard. BPSAAAA. Like, who's gonna remember that?
I know.
Nobody ever listens to me. That's why I bounced.
Well, Draith was he's an admin in the Sentinel Discord. I haven't seen him around in a long time. I guess something was going on with his personal.
I haven't heard from him in a long time. Oof, years. But it was a good attempt to do something, I guess. I wanted it 100% private. That was the problem. And it didn't go in that direction. That's why I left. Um, all right. So tell us about your history. You said you've been in the Blue Friends over there. Why did they call it Blue Friends? Who are those people?
Because they got Blue Pepe. That's like their mascot, right? So we had a meme lord for the last 4 years. Every single day would push out three Blue Pepe memes around centralized around Sentinel. So they call us the Blue Friends because blue is our color of our logo, and that's just kind of a term that got adopted over the years. So it's pretty. The meme lord was freaking awesome. He did some. Man, if he's got a Telegram channel, we told him to take a break for the last month, and so he hasn't been pushing on any memes. But he did it solid for about 4 years every day for about 3 a day every day. It was crazy. I can't believe he did all that. But yeah, that's where the Blue Friends comes from. Was like the Blue Pepe memes.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cute. It was a good way to attract attention. So how has your experience been in Sentinel? Like, why did you get involved? Is it because you're a privacy freak?
Yeah, so like I lost my privacy after graduate school in 2013, and I for a long time like I didn't have a job. I wasn't doing it like I couldn't get a job anywhere because nobody would hire me because of some personal things. But so I just started developing software on my own, in my house here. Like my whole basement is my office. I have like 3 rooms here with a bunch of computers, and so I started developing software in like 2018, and that was more for analytics to software. I was in crypto. Like I created I was gonna mine Bitcoin in 2011. Let's put it that way. But I kept it on the side because I didn't have any money, so I didn't get involved in it until about 2017. And then the business that I ran, my analytics company, just never took off.
Mm-hmm.
And I had limited cash flow, and so I couldn't really market it or anything like that besides like Instagram channels. So I started really getting involved in privacy coins around 2020, and that's when I noticed a Monero influencer, Celia Brimmer. She's very popular in the Monero community, and she mentioned Sentinel in 2021. I was like, well, shoot, I use a VPN, and a decentralized VPN sounds right up my alley. So I started running nodes on Sentinel, just some because I had about 4 or 5 servers at the time for my analytics company. So I started just hosting nodes for Sentinel on those servers back in 2021. It's actually exactly 4 years to the date now that I hosted my first node on Sentinel because they had a rewards program basically or an incentive program that if you host nodes on Sentinel you'll get extra payouts in the coin. So I was like, oh, cool, I could use some extra money. I don't have much money right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then about February 2022, I noticed that there wasn't any desktop apps on Sentinel. There was like 2 mobile apps, and at the time there was a company called Exidio, which was developing a mobile apps for Sentinel. And then there was a flagship app that Sentinel had for mobile. And I was like, well, there's no desktop apps. So I was like, most of the time I use a VPN on my desktop computers.
Right.
And on my router as well. I think if everybody should take the time to learn how to install a VPN on their router,
Yes.
because it covers all your internet traffic in your house. So it's all inclusive of everything that's running in your house. So in February 2022, I started developing a terminal user client. Basically, it's a console app that has like an interface, right? So I just developed that just on my spare time, and the foundation of Sentinel was like, oh wow, we got a developer, that's just doing this on his own. So I got a message in my DM on Twitter saying, Sentinel would like you to develop applications for them. I was like, holy fuck, this is a breakthrough for me. Like I have a chance to make some money now, finally, after like what 9 years of not having any money.
Yep.
So I wrote up a grant, and they know who I am personally. They know my real identity because I wanted to provide that to them to give them reassurance that I wasn't going to like take the money and run. It's just a personal thing, and then they keep that within themselves. But so I wrote up a grant for them, and they accepted it, and I got the first round of payment, and I began developing Mela in about May of 2022, and I've been working on it ever since. And I have we have an analytics platform called Metabase, which is like it mines all the data on the Sentinel chain, like the nodes, how long they've been active on Sentinel, subscriptions, leases, plan leases, all the different subscription plans. Because in Mela we offer subscription plans that you can pay with Monero, Pirate Chain, Firo, Pivx, and a few others, Xano and FUSD. And so those plans are created on the blockchain on Sentinel. So we have plan data and all. You can do all these. You can create all your own queries on our Metabase platform. It's free to join. And so we just mine the data on the Sentinel blockchain because there's a lot of data. There's a lot of data that goes into the nodes, and we process our own stuff like how long they've been active, what their uptime is. So if a node is not performing well, we drop it from our plan so we can add reliable nodes. And I've been working on that ever since. And Sentinel's got quite a few different apps on the they got about 3 white label developers. So there's us, Norse. Norse is the main one. That's the one hosted by Alexander Litriev, the current CEO of Sentinel, and he does more of his Norse apps are more like Web 2 kind of integrated so that people that are used to Web 2 design don't have like this remembering a seed phrase and all that stuff. So it allows them to really onboard users quickly into this. They don't even know that they're using blockchain, which is really cool. Somebody needed to do that. Mela is more focused on the Web3 self-custody aspect because I think that enables more privacy. But Norse has really onboarded hundreds of thousands of users on the Sentinel. And then there's Vault, which is VALT, which is a data mining company, but it allows you to control your own data. And they have a Sentinel app as well. It's pretty cool. It's actually really nice. It's a mobile app. I don't think they have a desktop one, but theirs is really nice too. It allows people to control their data and get monetized for collecting their data. So it's a really cool concept. And he's won a couple of awards. Zach Wickstrom is the guy behind Vault. He's won a couple of awards for his concept of controlling your data and monetizing on it. And then there's the biggest app on Sentinel is called Independent, and this is primarily geared towards people in like Persia and China. And they've onboarded about 600,000 users so far to Sentinel, and they're a mobile platform. So right now it's a free app that you can use all the nodes on Sentinel, but you can opt out of the advertising by paying like $2.99 a month or something like that. And I believe they accept crypto, but mostly it's used through Apple Pay and Google Pay. But yeah, Sentinel has really developed since I joined in 2022 when there was only like 2 mobile apps and my desktop app. It's really blossomed into a full suite of white label developers and really smooth usability through the North apps. So it's really developed a lot over the years, and I love. We just did a chain upgrade in October of October 27th that allowed for really good management of plans, and also allowed it for 3-second block times. Also, subscriptions are not manageable anymore, which was a better UX design for Mela in particular, because people don't. It's less obfuscation to like use the app and stuff like that. So it's worked really well, and I think Sentinel's on a good path. The coin price is a little on the downside, but after last night with the market, I think everybody is at this point.
That's a lot of projects you've been involved in. It's an extensive history. You're a veteran at this point. How do you compete against other DVPN companies? Like how does Sentinel compete with the likes of Mysterium, right? Because I think there was only two. I'm not sure if there's more now, but I know of Mysterium being another alternative to Sentinel as a DVPN. How do you guys differ?
Yeah, so Mysterium is actually they're probably the like biggest competitor, and I wouldn't really call them a competitor too much. This is kind of the words of Alex as well. Is their development has kind of stagnated over the last 2 years. They haven't really pushed any updates at all, and so they are probably the one with the most other nodes, like residential nodes, which if you go to Netflix, they know you're using a VPN, right? Because all IP addresses are flagged as data center, educational, government, military, or residential, which is your basic ISP. And so Sentinel has the most residential nodes, which gets around a lot of geo blocking, around a lot of different services that don't allow you to use a VPN. But Mysterium, their development has stagnated over the last couple of years. They haven't really pushed much. I don't know if their funding is short. I mean, funding is short kind of in a lot of projects right now. But I think another one is Orchid, which I tested their app about a month ago, and it is really pathetic. Orchid is not even a competitor whatsoever.
Mm.
And then there's another one called Mask, which is just launched, I think, late last year. And they use, I think they're on the base network, which I wouldn't trust that because that's a very corporate entity network. But and then I think there's another one called the Anyone protocol. I haven't tested that personally, and I don't know too much about it, but that's getting some traction as well. But I really think we are a solo chain, right? We have our own chain. We're a coin. We're not a token on Sentinel. And I think that really distinguishes apart from the rest of the DVPN networks out there. I think all of them are mostly tokens relying on another L1 blockchain or an L2 blockchain even. And so I think we have very customized smart contracts on our blockchain. We have a very, very good a couple developers for the chain, and we're based on the Cosmos SDK, which is very strong technology and allows a lot of customizability of the chain itself. And after this recent upgrade on October 27th, which had downtime for a couple of the apps, including Mela, but we got everything back working now, and I extended the subscriptions on Mela for an extra month just for the downtime for all the users. But it's the most advanced DVPN protocol there is right now on Sentinel. There's no question about that. The ability of all the different API front ends and stuff like that we have really allows a lot of customizability, a lot better UX, and a 3-second block time, so connections are faster for the apps now and everything like that. So I think Sentinel is probably the most advanced, and we keep eventually I'd like to move to to a ZK kind of chain, that would be really cool. But that's a lot of work down the road. But I think Sentinel is probably the most advanced DVPN chain out there right now on the market, and we keep growing and we keep building. So
Awesome.
I'm not going to stop it. This has been a job I've been at for the longest, besides being in studies at university. So other than that, this is the one thing I've really stuck to and have a passion for, and I'd like to see it grow into becoming the standardized VPN protocol as a decentralized one. So
Very awesome. Very awesome. Tell me about the coin. Is it still called? Is it P2P now? I know they changed the name of the Sentinel coin. It's associated with the DVPN.
yeah, so the ticker used to be DVPN, which I thought that was a gold mine of a ticker to have, but they changed it earlier this year to P2P because they have decentralized AI node scraping. So you can go to this. It's called Scout. So you can go to this scout.sentinel.co, and AI agents can use it to scrape websites for live data. So you don't even need AI to train on stored data anymore. It can train on live scraped data. And these nodes are hosted by Android phones, right? So anybody can host an Android Scout node, and when somebody requests, like, what year was the best model for Nissan cars that didn't have, surveillance in them, and the AI will talk to these Android nodes that people are running. And I think there's about 60 to 100 of them so far. And the nodes will scrape the data live on demand for these AI agents. So it's really the first of its kind of like decentralized data miners for AI. And so that's why they changed the coin name to P2P. And the coin, a lot of altcoins have suffered besides some of the privacy coins recently, but it's still got strong fundamentals. You can stake the coin and earn interest on it, and also any subscriptions that happen for the nodes, for the decentralized VPN nodes, stakers get 20% of the rewards of those. So there's good usability and there's good long-term fundamentals for the coin. It's just speculation has been a little shortcoming, especially with altcoins recently. So
But
other than that, yeah, it's P2P now, but I did like the DVPN when it used to be that. So
I believe that was a mistake in my opinion because the word DVPN is a better keyword, in SEO than P2P. You would get a lot more attention
yeah,
with
I agree.
DVPN.
I agree. I didn't have much input on that. I agree. I think the DVPN was a really gold mine ticker, but they decided to go with P2P. So
They didn't market it correctly. That's right. Uh, but so what's the inflation look like? Like what's the supply of P2P coin?
right now the supply is 31 billion, and then the max supply is 48. So that'll be reached in the next about 3 years or 4 years, and then that's when the subscription uh, uh, distribution kicks in around to stakers, so they'll still get staking rewards and stuff like that.
Are they mineable? Like, can I mine it from my machine, or are they only stakeable?
So it's only staking. So there's validators. There's about 100 validators on the Sentinel chain. MathNodes is one of them, and so it's not proof of work. It's proof of stake.
Can anyone become a validator?
Yeah, so I don't know right now what the minimum bond is. I think it's kind of low, but the foundation delegates to all validators, so everybody gets a delegation, so they will earn rewards. And it's right now cut off at 100, so there might be a minimum bond that a new validator has to come in and, like, bond, I don't know, 1 million tokens or 1 million coins, which is not a big price right now. That's only $150. So I think there's the minimum bond rate is pretty low right now to become an active validator in the set.
Very nice. And I like the fact that you're an actual chain and not a crap token. Tokens, I don't even
Me
use them.
too.
I don't even use them.
No, no, I like if I'm gonna invest in a network that's like they call Sentinel and decentralized compute. They call it DPIN, right? Decentralized public infrastructure. And that's a big theme in, like, helium. Helium that does IoT and mobile devices, and they have their own like routers and all that stuff. They're probably the biggest DPIN network. And then there's like Sentinel. There's Akash that does. You can rent. Akash is like the AWS of decentralized compute, right? So they're really cool. They got a good strong basis too, and I've used them quite a bit. You can deploy Nextcloud instances. You can
Right.
deploy decentralized AI. You can even deploy crypto miners on their decentralized compute. I did that when Monero was getting attacked by Cubic or whatever it was then. I deployed a miner and Akash. It wasn't profitable, but it helped the Monero network at least.
Okay.
But so the DPIN theme is pretty big, and Helium is probably the forefront of it. But when you think about investing in a network or something like that, I think an L1, a layer one chain that exists on their own is a much better investment than some shit token that's already minted all their coins and have vesting schedules and all.
Right.
It's really it rings scam in my mind, to be
Right.
honest.
Right. And the whole point of crypto is to make you independent. Right. In my opinion, if you're a token, that token is dependent on a mommy chain. Right. So it might be an Ethereum token or maybe a Binance token. Right. Whatever token platform you're using, if that platform dies, that token dies with it. So you are a slave to that mommy token. Right. That mommy token platform. So tokens are are not crypto. In my opinion, they're just not crypto. It's not an independent sovereignty fighting coin. It's just a slave coin of some other slavery coin, some other surveillance coin, right?
And having your own blockchain allows a lot more censorship resistant
Right,
ability too. Like, Mask on base, they're going to be subject to whatever base is, and base is already freaking implemented KYC on chain. So it's like, why would you ever want to be part of that network if you're geared towards privacy, right? Because you're going to have to succumb to whatever base decides, with Brian Armstrong deciding, if there's going to be full KYC for every token or whatever. That's not, you don't want to be subject to that kind of control. So
that's right.
having your own blockchain when you're a privacy network, I think, is essential.
Right, and that's another reason why I love Komodo. Because it does not
Yeah.
work. It does not work like all these other token platforms. When a coin is on Komodo, it's an actual chain. So if Komodo died tomorrow, your chain will still work. The coin you created on Komodo will still work. And that's the difference. That's why Komodo is amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I was a big supporter of Komodo years ago when I found their decks, and I was a little upset when they started introducing like geo blocking and KYC in their decks. But that's a long story. But their Komodo is on a great path now, and I really support the network. And I'd like to integrate payments in KMD in Mela. Hopefully now payments gets their shit together on that end, so we can do that.
We got to replace now
Yeah.
payments. We got to replace. Hey, Polly,
Yeah.
love you, brother.
Well,
I'm gonna take a break.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, on that
Yeah,
point, I
like
tried reaching out to them, several times, but who's ever running their, tech support
horrible
response,
support. Horrible
uh,
support. They have horrible support.
yeah, it's very, yeah, they're useless. So yeah, we'll have
Yeah,
to find better
I
payment.
I've spent I
Like,
spent months going back and forth with an agent, support agent there, and they thought I was like requesting that my payment wasn't going through. Like, no, I just want to know if you're going to get the coin working so my app can accept it. Like, it took a long time to get an actual response out of them. So yeah, they're useless, man. So hopefully, maybe down the line, maybe next year I can run a full Komodo node, or when it switches to proof of stake, I can have a front end that we can accept within the app, like scan the QR code, so we can do our own payment gateway. That's the route I want to go with third party or with part payments in Mela, is to have our own payment gateway, so we're not dependent on these intermediaries.
So it's a lot better way to go. I know a lot of merchants and stuff due to well, this happened a few years back, but like coin payments pulled out of serving U.S. people and stuff like that. It just having your own payment gateway is very beneficial. So you don't have to inconvenience the other the merchants on your network.
Yeah, like we have BTC Pay, which I think is probably the best payment gateway there is right now. And I think you can develop plugins to have your coin accepted on that, which is really cool. It's really modular now, which is a lot better than it used to be. But I think BTC Pay is really a really strong payment gateway for people to run. And Pirate has a fork of BTC Pay, which I think it's up and running. I haven't tested it in about 2 months, or a month and a half, but I did test it with Oswald, and it seemed to be working, but I don't know if it's complete yet. But we'll see. I'm waiting for more news on that. So, other than that, I think that I got everything covered on Sentinel with our AI decentralized nodes and the different white labels on there. So, I don't know if Polly has any further updates on Komodo. I did want to ask Polly one thing. Was I downloaded Komodo 0.93 from the actions, and I noticed that Osmo on the Osmosis coin was active. Is that tradable on Komodo Dex now? I didn't notice that before in other releases.
I will have to double check that, but it should be. So, one thing a lot of people might not know, we actually built out a kind of a way to swap with the Cosmos ecosystem, kind of like through a third party type chain called Unify that we created. So, I believe that is. So it should be swappable directly. I know Iris is, but them, Osmosis, and their chains that don't natively support the HTLC will have a way of swapping in the wallet through this. I'm not sure if
Oh,
it's fully
really?
integrated in just yet, but I know that it was built, so I think that might be what you're seeing. So give
Yeah,
it a try.
because I didn't
And
know if I wasn't aware that Osmosis had HTLCs. I knew Iris did, but I didn't know if Osmos did. I talked with our developer at Sentinel about HTLCs on Sentinel, and he said he would take a look into Iris's implementation of it, because we would like to get Sentinel on Komodo. And if we can do HTLCs either through smart contracts or natively on the chain, I think that would be a really good addition, because we're looking for ways to expand our liquidity. That's one of the main reasons why the coin price has kind of suffered a bit. Is the liquidity is really poor. We're only on one main exchange, so.
yeah, adding the HTLCs directly is definitely the better way to go. This other method like limits you to swapping with certain ones. But yeah, if you're able to get that going, you'll be able to swap with any of the coins that we have, and not just a subset that the Cosmos ecosystem that lacks HTLCs can. So yeah, if you can definitely get that integrated in Sentinel, we can get you guys into the wallet and expand your liquidity reach.
Yeah. I'll keep following up with Shirini about that, but I think that might be an upgrade maybe next year or something like that. So it's down the line, but he seemed interested in getting it into looking into it. So he's the main developer behind the actual blockchain development. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. We see it come to fruition here one day. Yeah. As far as Komodo updates, the guys this week mainly it's like a lot of testing. We're trying to wrap up this SIA integration. Um, that's well, it's been in the works for a long time, but we're revisiting it now to get the final implementation. So it's been kind of a boring week, mainly just testing and finishing out the stuff that we were previously working on, including the main official releases for the desktop and mobile. So all of that is currently underway, but kind of a boring week, really just testing going on.
I noticed Komodo's on F-Droid. I downloaded it on my Graphene. I think that it was right on the front page of F-Droid the other day when I checked. So I thought that was really damn cool.
Oh yes, we just got that released out for the Android users who don't like the Google Play platform.
Did you guys have to pay for marketing on F-Droid, or was that just on the front page by like happenstance?
I think just happenstance. Yeah, we did not pay anything to F-Droid, so yeah, just got lucky.
Cool. I downloaded it. It looks really good on mobile. I'll tell you that. The desktop app, there's a little too much empty space in the swap interface compared to like 0.8.3 or 8.2. So I'm sure that'll be developed further in new releases, because it did say it was alpha when I downloaded it. So
yeah, we can adjust the space, the swap screen. That's not a problem.
looks good though. I like the HD wallets, the HD ability for actually adding more addresses and all that stuff. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely a nice feature. It's something we took a while to get implemented, but it's something that most of the large wallet providers have. Maybe not really in a as direct way that we have, where you can just click button, generate new address, but a lot of them, like trusts and stuff, have an HD feature that spins up a new address for you each time, which aids in privacy, somewhat. Provided that you also take other actions that defend your privacy, but using a new
Yeah.
app.
You gotta be conscientious of what you're doing when you're moving between public ledgers.
Yeah.
Very cool. We started late, Polly, so you could use like an extra 10 minutes, answer some questions from the community.
So yes, yeah, we'll turn it over to the community, now if they have any questions for Nick about Sentinel or any questions about what's going on with Komodo. And Shen, yeah, this week was kind of small on updates, but yeah, mainly it's just been testing, so nothing really new, just finishing up stuff. But yeah, I'll turn the mic over to the crowd now, and yeah, anyone wants to speak, here's your shot.
Canada the Great actually asked if Sentinel has ever been
If Sentinel has ever been what?
forked into a different coin.
Yeah, there was a scam chain called Cosmic Network. They took the entire Sentinel code base and ran it with one validator. So it was completely centralized, right? And they took the Solar Labs, which is now Norse. They took their mobile app because Solar made it public on GitHub, and they just changed around some of the names, made it Cosmic, and it was a scam chain because they were just trying to pump the price of their coin and then dump it on everybody, which they ended up doing. And Alexander Litriev called them out on YouTube and showed that all their code base was Sentinels and that their app was Solars. And so he kind of got them pretty much go to zero after his public display that they pretty much stole all the work of Sentinel, all our hard work. Didn't give any attributes to Solar or to Sentinel, and just kind of copied everything and tried to pump the token price of their coin and then dump it on everybody. So, in which they did, and then they went under. So there was a lot of users that, not from Sentinel, but that discovered Cosmic through their marketing, that just got hurt on that. And so I think they're over on Sentinel now because they realize that Sentinel is a much more trustworthy, and it's been around. It's kind of, at this point, Sentinel is a Dino coin, right? It's been around since 2017, so it's getting Dino coin status at this point. It's been through bear markets and bull markets, so it's seen the works, and it's been surviving, and it's got a good team behind it that are very dedicated, including myself and Litriev as well. He's very dedicated and very loyal. So it's got a very strong team and strong fundamentals. So I think it's got a long way to go, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Very awesome. Love it. And thank you. Thank you for bringing us this technology, though. Because,
Yeah,
that,
when I integrated Monero in 2.0, my first thought was I got to get Pirate Chain integrated.
Word.
And I was on a show with Crypto Rich. Each time he interviewed me, he's like, "Is Pirate Chain on there yet?" I'm like, "No, I'm still working on it." But in June this year, we finally got Pirate Chain integrated, and I was really thrilled about that. And the pirates have shown up in full force to support our integration, so that was really cool.
You're the only one I recommend for a DVPN these days. It doesn't make sense to pay for a DVPN if you're paying for it with a credit card. In all honesty, it makes no sense.
No, not at all. No, not at all. That's why we don't even Mela doesn't accept fiat because one, it opens the doors to we have to catalog that information if somebody pays with fiat, right? So their identity is on our end, and so it opens our doors to any kind of warrants being served to us because we may have information on users. But when we accept crypto and specifically privacy coins, we don't have any information on our users, right? So there's no way we could be served with any kind of subpoena or anything like that because we don't have any information, and we make that publicly known that we don't know anything about our users. So that really helps on our cover our ass aspect.
And you have to do that these days. You have to do that.
All right, that's it for the questions. I guess we'll wrap up here tonight. Thank you all for coming, and thank you, Freaknik, for discussing about Sentinel and telling us all about decentralized VPN networks. Please join back here next week. We have some updates going along. I believe we're really close to wrapping up the mobile and the desktop versions, and we actually in the coming weeks we'll be having a larger announcement as well. But still waiting for things to finalize up on that. So please, join us back here next week, and where we discuss all about crypto projects and what's happening in the Komodo ecosystem. Thank you, everyone, and have a good weekend.
Yo, ho, set sail on the blockchain. See pirate chains, the real digital gold, not fiat decree. Puts the power in your hands, no tyrants in sight. Deflationary treasure, limited supply. Hold tight, we don't compromise for government lies. You wear a mask while I drink from my flask. Eyes on the prize. Feel the waves crash, no chains can bind. Pirates calling, leave the fiat behind. Rising, privacy's fight. Mimicking gold so fine, finite supply, no devaluing your life or mine. Pirate protects you by default, no need to shield up. Over 99% of the chains hidden Gulf can't interrupt. Fair start chain, mine by real community days you never met. True cypherpunks building force, no regret. Feel the waves crash, no chains can bind. Pirates calling, leave the fiat behind. Rising, privacy's fight. It's not just the last real privacy coin ever made. It's crypto's last hope for survival till the machines invade. If people offer you privacy as an option, they're taking it away. Pirates default shield, join the fray. No tyrants devalue your worth. No spies in the hold. Sail without where freedom's pure gold. Feel the waves crash, no chains can bind. Pirates calling, leave the fiat behind. Rising now, freedom unwind. Rising, unbreakable might. Digital gold on the night, shielded forever. Worlds ignite. Crypto conspiracy, join the fight. Rising, unbreakable might. Digital gold on the night, shielded forever. Worlds ignite. Crypto conspiracy, join the fight.
Welcome to the crypto conspiracy, where Pirate Chain exposes the lies and arms you with true freedom. RG ready. The revolution starts now.
Rights, privileges, what's the difference? Very simply, rights come from God, privileges come from man. Choose this day whom you will serve. Choose this day under what kind of system you would prefer to live. Rights, they mean it really in the terms of the right to sue that turkey for everything he's got. I mean, he ran over my brand new patent leather shoes. The attorney ends up with it all. My rights have been violated by the attorney, except that I can't sue him. Sign a contract with an attorney and you're automatically declared non compos mentis, and he says, non what? Not mentally competent. Well, my rights have been taken away again. Do you really know what your rights are? Between rights and privileges? 14th Amendment rights. But those are all privileges granted by Congress. A privilege is something that can be granted and taken away at the whim. If you have a contract with any form of civil government, it's an adhesion contract in which you give up, by implication, all constitutional protections. You change your status, give up your rights, and accept privileges. I had a friend of mine the other day, got burned by the IRS, and he says, what was I gonna do? Beating down my door, they're threatening me, and my lawyer said, obey. Do tell me. That's the only way I can get out of it. I said, what privilege or benefit or immunity were you drawing that gave the IRS some kind of jurisdiction? Talking about. Then I said, you deserve to pay. All right, you explained it to me. And I said, you got a Social Security card in your pocket? Everybody does. I don't. And he says, you don't? And I said, no. I'm not going to take any benefit, privilege, or opportunity from the government. Only if you do that, do they have jurisdiction. Only if you do that, do you give up your rights and accept and swap for privileges. He said, yeah, right. I suppose you ain't got no driver's license either. And I said, wait a minute. You ain't got no license plates on your truck, John. And I said, really? Registered? And I said, no, I have quiet title on all my property. I'm a citizen at law. The God of Scripture is my authority. He says, oh, come on, John, don't mix any of this religion. I said, look, let me explain something to you. I said, now this is going to get a little philosophical, and I know you're a public school graduate. Well, to be more genteel about it, he suffers from advanced epistemological myopia. All law is religious. The only difference between systems of law is the gods of the dominant religion. All thought's religious. All thought creates its own system of law. So why even talk about law? Why even talk about rights? I don't know why anyone else talks about law and rights and the Constitution, but I can give you my reasons. Back in a body bag from Nam. I've never understood why they died. This is the heritage and the tradition that we have been given. And in it was law, the law of God. And we gave it up. And a friend of mine one time got very hostile because he said, you're talking about imposing religion, Christianity, and law. You're supposed to render under Caesar the things that are Caesar and the things that are God to God. Well, it confused my friend, because in this system, we are Caesar. The people are the supreme law of the land. Governments exist by consent of the governed, and by the power of God they will stay there, and Bill Clinton and his queen will inflict their judgments upon us because we deserve them. Turned over a voter's registration card and actually read the back of it. Must be a resident of the United States. You know what resident means? You know what domicile means? How it applies in opposition to resident? Resident of the United States, people, is one who signed a Social Security agreement, gotten their driver's license, by registering to vote, has pledged their property for the error of politicians. In other words, they place a lien on your physical person and all your property.